Good evening. It's Trey Reed, and I'm here to speak with you about the state of our city. When my family and I chose Lonoke as our new home, we saw a need. Lonoke was hungry for growth, for something different, and for a new vision. So last year we challenged the status quo, and our suspicions were affirmed by the 2018 election results. To that, I say thank you and congratulations. You allowed your voice and your vote to affect meaningful change. But now it's time to work. And it's time to prove, not just ourselves, but to others throughout the county and throughout Central Arkansas, that Lonoke can connect and that we will progress in an inclusive and unified way. But that all starts with a vision. So tonight, I want to outline current projects and talk to you about the good things in our community. And I also want to emphasize areas of improvement and identify barriers to growth. But before we do, I want to acknowledge a few folks as testaments of the hard work and selfless dedication that's required to keep a city running. Many, if not most of you, know them by name. Mr. Gina Ibbotson, Cindy Reeves, Jim Ed Ransom, Roy Don Lewis, Mr. Mike Brown, Chief Randy Mock, Chief Justin Wittenberg, Mr. Jim Kelly. These are your city administrators, people who get up every single day and lead the charge to ensure that we have clean water, safe neighborhoods, operable streets, recreational opportunities, and that our city government remains in good standing with the state. When speaking to our strengths, we have a lot to be thankful for. For instance, you're probably watching this video from the city's new Facebook page or its YouTube channel. We now have those abilities to communicate through social media. You may have also heard about the city's new logo, a logo that was designed and created for the people of Lonoke by the people of Lonoke. The oak leaf is a symbol of Lonoke's heritage. The outline of the courthouse is a testament to our position as the county seat. And the fish, a representation of the bait fish industry that makes Lonoke so unique. It's a logo that represents the best of our community, and it's something to be proud of and to stand behind. We're in a strong position financially, and we're postured for growth. We've been making conscious decisions as to not overspend and working on policy that ensures a transparent and fair procurement process. Last year, your city council voted to approve a $20 million bond for the purchase of new water and sewer lines. And this is a good thing for the future of our community. And in many ways, this project is considered to be long overdue. Even better news is that the project was underbid by approximately $6 million, meaning that we now have the flexibility to improve even more infrastructure than originally anticipated. You may have noticed a new water meter in your front yard, and if not, no worries, the contractors will be there soon. These water meters are high-tech and they're accurate. They will provide the city with improved leak detection, wireless meter reading capability, and improve our city's overall water usage for a long time. There are no moving parts to this new meter as it incorporates the use of a magnetic pickup. And what's this mean to you? No time is better than now to have that leaky faucet checked out, or otherwise you could see an increase in your water use. One of our greatest strengths is that Lonoke is a walkable community. Every day, our children walk our streets to and from school, and we owe it to them to provide a safe path. Last year, the city invested in a Safe Pathways to School project that incorporates 5-foot sidewalks connecting our community to our school system. Phase 1 has just passed the approval process and should be implemented by the end of the summer. We didn't stop there. Mr. Jim Ed Ransom has just finalized plans for Phase 2, and we will begin submitting those very soon. We also have drafted preemptively a plan for a third phase, which will include much of the north end of town. The sidewalks aren't the only thing in our city worth being walked. The new rail trail is nearing completion. Energy will soon begin installing lights, and the city will install benches, trash cans, and additional oak trees to finalize this project. If we take care of it, Lonoke will have a platform for recreation, festivals, and celebrations for decades to come. You should soon see a brand new and much larger leaf machine picking up piles of brush in the future. And in addition to this new machine, we'll also incorporate the old machine, which means an increase in service and dependable coverage. Your police department has just received approval to purchase 3 mobile radar signs. These signs will be installed throughout our community and utilized to deter speeding on our streets. They will be relocated periodically, increasing awareness as the goal is to improve the mindfulness of our drivers. These are but a few of the things that your city is doing to make this community strong. Though there is much room for improvement, so let's address those now. One of the common themes I saw during the campaign was a lack of connection between City Hall and the people of Lonoke. Many, if not most, have little clue who represented them at City Council. Many still had little information about city business as a whole. It became clear that communication was one of the greatest setbacks, and that's why I've designed a proposal for the City Council's approval to overcome the lack of communication by providing live feed to council meetings, by purchasing a customized city engagement app that would allow you to generate tickets within the city, software that would provide a platform for presenting large infrastructure projects with supporting documentation, and the purchase of a billboard within the city limits, all designed with the intent to connect you with City Hall, no matter where you are. Many of the city's policies are dated or they just don't exist, and we're working to change that by generating good policy, defining best practices, and updating our city handbooks, a process that should occur every 2 years. As an example of this, Lonoke will begin using contractual agreements with service providers performing work for the city. This will ensure expectations are managed, terms are outlined, scopes of work are defined, and establish dates of completion, ensuring that our tax dollars are being put to their best use. Now, no community exists without its challenges. They all have setbacks and barriers to growth that need to be identified, addressed, and mitigated for the betterment of the community. And a few weeks back, I requested your feedback, asking you to identify the topics that you thought were unaddressed or that presented a barrier to growth. So let's read some of those now. Mr. J.R. Leonard asks, hey, what's the plan of attack on mosquitoes? New housing development, condemnation list, and the 89 development. Well, J.R., mosquitoes are, in my mind, one of our greatest weaknesses. They're a detriment to our quality of life, a barrier to growth, and they increase our susceptibility to vector-borne diseases. And that's why we will be taking a smarter, more alternative approach to mosquito control. But it will not happen overnight. We're currently communicating with Spartan Mosquito to test run our city park system with their eradicators. They've offered to outfit our parks for the first 90 days of the season for free. And I've also begun to pursue an alternative spraying method managed by the 910th Air Wing in Youngstown, Ohio. Now, this is not a guaranteed solution, as there are many requirements that must be met for Lonoke to qualify. But I will keep you informed as the solution presents itself. The condemnation process has been put on hold for 5 months so that the new administration can better understand the process, how best to move forward on nuisance properties, and to instill a code enforcement program. The Chamber of Commerce will be utilized as a vehicle for representing growth at the new 89 exchange, and we're currently working to establish relationships with the major property owners. Mr. Alan Smith says, hey, fixing all these city streets that the city and hired contractors have dug up, I've been down log roads better than these. And Mr. Smith, the streets will soon be repaired once the sewage and water projects have been completed. And this allows for less congestion and a stronger base by allowing the gravel to compact and settle before we top it. Ms. Becky Evans asks, what's up with that burnt tobacco store? Will the eyesore be there forever? Talk about a good place for business. You should be happy to hear the movement has been made on the tobacco store. A line was drawn in the sand a month ago to initiate penalties if the site was not cleaned up. This happened to coincide with the sale of the property. So as of March the 15th, it is now under new ownership. And we want to build a strong relationship with all new business owners in town. And though it's no surprise, that building in its current state is a complete eyesore and it must be repaired. In line with the ultimatum that I presented to the previous owner, the new owners too will be given a short deadline to clean up the property before the city moves to remediate the nuisance that it has become. And in reference to nuisance properties, you will soon find a courtesy notice of code enforcement in your next month's water bill. Now, this letter will describe the steps that we are taking as we move towards a more meaningful posture of enforcing our city laws. Laws that are in place to keep our community presentable, sanitary, and in good order. As we move forward, I'd like you to know the city wants to help facilitate this process, and we want to work with you, not against. Our goal is not to impose penalties and fines, but rather to convince those in violation that by maintaining order, we can create a town that we'll all be proud of. Brittany Scott says, flooding around the city and including Mallard Point. Mr. Matt Cordell and I will be hosting a town hall meeting at the Mallard Point Fieldhouse to inform the residents of the city's plan. If you live in Mallard Point, you should soon receive a notice. Brittany, the short answer to your statement is this. The city is moving forward. We are admitting ownership of the Mallard Point Drive, and we will be working with the developer to ensure adequate drainage is installed. To a larger point, Lonoke's #1 issue is improper drainage. The solution will not present itself overnight. The city alone cannot fix this issue, as much of the problems lie just outside the city limits. I'm currently collecting photographs and supporting information that will be required to present a solid case when asking for the support that will be needed. My goal is to present a viable solution to our problem by the end of this term. Moving into the future, there are big plans and there's a bold vision here. And I want to encourage you to get involved and to do your part. No one individual can do it alone. It will take all of us working together behind a common vision to make our community attractive to new businesses. It will take parents engaging at home to increase the quality of school systems. And it will take community volunteers and local investors to continue their good works. One major way that you can do your part is by participating in the upcoming census. It may seem like such an insignificant process to avoid, but your participation equals greater financial potential for Lonoke, and that means a better future for our children. Next March, the Census Bureau will begin their count with the goal of counting everyone once and in the right place. I encourage you to understand your role in this process and to provide the necessary information required when so prompted, either by mailer or by online. Every person matters. If you have questions or concerns, I want to encourage you to get engaged with a local civic group, join a church, and volunteer your time. Start attending city council meetings or reach out and contact your alderman. These are all ways to get involved, show your concern, and to give back to the community. It takes a team of individuals dedicated to a shared purpose to create a town full of love, full of life, and full of opportunity. Thank you for your time.